Hi, I'm Sophie and my business is Puhui Beauty and Spa. Now, I have just finished doing Michelle Clark's Nail Your Business Values in 30 minutes, and it really brought up some stuff for me that I was quite surprised about. I think delving into the personal values was something that I haven't really done before when I've looked at my business values. And it was surprising to me to see, actually, when I was going through these steps that she'd laid out, how I was emulating these values already in my business. And it kind of gave me more direction of how I can continue to emulate them. So, first of all, I went through all of the values that were listed there. I think for me, it was really about not being in my own head when I was picking them. Picking them wasn't so hard because, you just kind of trust your soul, and anyone that kind of my brain kept going to or my mind wanted to keep going to, I would circle that one. And it was kind of like, yep, who cares if you circle 50, just even if they all resonated, I probably would have just circled them all. But there were some that I was surprised at that I thought might have been a value of mine, but when I was really kind of in that flow, it wasn't. It didn't seem as important. So that was the first interesting thing. The second bit, so categorizing them. This is probably the part that I found the most difficult. I was in my own head too much. Every time I tried to categorize things together, I knew that I was going to have to pick one from that category because I'd read ahead of what I was going to do next. And I would be like, oh no, but how am I going to pick between the two? So my best advice for doing this is to really just get out of your head, don't forward think it, and just go with what seems natural to be placed together. Like, don't overthink it. There are some that are maybe more obvious than others, and I kind of found a couple that were really obvious and started with that as being a group. And then once I'd done that and made that one little group, then it kind of flowed from there. It was a little bit easier to start that categorization. I used different colors as well. I don't know, that just helped me to have the different colors for the different categories. And then moving through to to the statements that I did of to how to apply those personal values once I'd picked them, how to apply those to my business values. Well, first of all, picking them, I really utilized Michelle's advice, which she writes on the paper there, which is to go through each and every one of them and compare the one that you've got next to the one above and which one would you choose if you could only choose between those two. It kind of just simplified it down a little bit, whereas if I was looking at like 15 values in one group, I'd be like, how do I pick? But if you go through them one at a time, just comparing it to the one above, it really simplifies things down and makes that process a lot easier. Again, not overthinking it really helped. There was definitely some that I was instantly drawn to that then I'd kind of be like, oh, but you can't choose that. And then I was like, well, why? Like, if I keep thinking about it, then it must be the one that I want, right? So, yep. And so then going through and turning them into like my business values or how they related to my business values, I got a little bit stuck, but then I managed to do it for one of them, and I came up with the kind of like starter sentence where I just wrote down, I meet/express this value in my business because/by. And I think just by writing that first point down, that starter sentence down, it helped things to flow out. And again, not overthinking it, not trying to write like a novel, just really keeping it short and simple. So for example, one of my personal values was love. And I wrote, I express this value in my business because I love to give treatments and help others to heal. And so it kind of flowed from there, which was, really helpful for me. And then for the stand for and stand against, again, this was a little bit difficult. I'm not going to lie. Like, it made me feel a little bit uncomfortable trying to delve into what I stand for and stand against. The prompts that Michelle has there were super helpful to kind of get me thinking along the right track. But something I will say is make sure you relate them back to the values that you chose. So after I'd written a few stand for and stand against, I kind of went back to the values and reminded myself what they were. And that kind of helped me to write more for stand for and against, but also to hone in on it. So for example, I'd written a whole load of stand fors, and then I went back to my values and remembered that love was one of my values. And so I wrote people loving the skin they're in. Like I literally used the word love. And that really helped me to relate what I was doing, what I was writing in my stand for and against, to my values. And that really helped me to kind of like push along in that process as well of stand for and stand against. And again, I just kind of just kept writing. I think that's the best in some ways. Just anything that's kind of in there, let it come out, and then keep writing. And slowly you kind of get to the deeper and deeper stuff that's really driven by soul rather than by brain. So yeah. And then again for the final part, the statement, rewrote it several times, kind of just got some things out that I wanted, and then honed it down in terms of the wording, and made sure it was really emulating what I wanted to get across. And I'll share mine with you. So I came up with Puhoi Beauty and Spa is the only fully integrated salon that shows you how to have a healthy skin and body by giving you simple and effective solutions so you can love the skin and body you're in without having to radically change your lifestyle. And that really impressed me. Like I was really blown away by how it just fully encompassed it. And I'm going to now use it in my social media posting. I'm probably going to put it on the website. And yeah, it was really interesting just because I have been doing this for a while now. And, you know, you think that you've got all of your values set and you know what track you're on, and actually stopping and doing something like this just recalibrated everything. Like I knew those values were there, especially the personal ones, but I possibly hadn't actually related them to my business. I think when it came to the business side, I was trying to do like business values, but you know, what's the difference really? Values are values. So this exercise has really helped to give me some fresh perspective and new direction when it comes to my values and how they relate to my business. And that's going to have a run-on effect to my marketing and also to, you know, how I am with clients in the salon. I think it's an exercise that I'll probably want to revisit multiple times over my career as well, just to check in, you know, values change. And again, just to recalibrate things to make sure that that I'm emulating the values that I currently have in my life and my business. So yeah, I think it was an amazing exercise. I got so much out of it. I'd really recommend for anyone to try doing this exercise.